Howdy, howdy, Cancer, and welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having an awesome week so far. So, for those of you who are returning, thanks for your subscribes, likes, and shares. I really appreciate it. And for those of you who are new, you are in for an exciting journey. So, what I'm going to be doing is a tarot card reading for the week of October 16th through the 22nd. And just a reminder, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this thing, Cancer. Your space has been cleansed. Gems are ready. I'm going to be pulling 15 cards. They're going to be in 5 groups of 3. The middle group is going to represent the nature of your problem. The upper left hand and right hand corner are going to represent some possible future outcomes. The bottom left is going to be kind of like the psychological basis of the nature of your problem, and then and some perspectives to deal with it. And then the bottom right is going to be some messages that your higher self wants you to know. And in case you all are curious, I'm using Aleister Crowley's Thoth deck. Imagery on this deck is super cool, so I'll be sure to show you that throughout. So with that being said, higher self, what do we have in store for Cancer this week? Let's go ahead and get these cards pulled, and then we shall get started. All right, Cancer. Alright, Cancer. Dope. Okay, let's put those there. Let's get these cards organized. Well, you just relax. I'm going to get these cards organized, and we'll jump into this thing. Okie dokie. Okay, Cancer. So, for the nature of your problem, you pulled the 8 of Wands. Well, again, I pulled. You're chilling. I pulled the 8 of Wands, and the cards that came with it are the 9 of Disc and the 2 of Cups. So with this 8 of Wands energy here, the 8 of Wands is usually a card of things coming in at a really fast pace. You know, in relationship to these 2 cards that you came with, I feel like with this 9 of Disc here, I feel like for some of you, I think that there's abundance coming in really fast. Maybe you're waiting on some news about, about your money coming in. You know, we're keeping track of these things. That, or you are getting ready to, maybe you've gotten a new idea for a project and you're trying to get those things going. But the 8 of Wands is definitely this kind of, it's a very electric energy. You know, this is Mercury in Sagittarius, so you know, you got Mercury as a fast mover, Sagittarius, you know, about being on the move. So this is about, I'm getting like very, the word I'm getting is electric, really kind of electric energy this week. You know, I feel like things are coming in for you fast, you know, that or you're moving towards something, you know, finally, I feel like something has clicked for you here with this 8 of Wands, and you're getting ready to head towards this 9 of Disc. And with the 9 of Disc, this is about gain. You know, this is about securing, I feel like stability. You know, with the disc can represent business matters, money, things of that nature. So that's why I had mentioned that about maybe if some of you are, you know, looking for that moolah to come in fast, or looking to start that project. The 9 of Disc is definitely about that gain. You know, so I do feel like there's going to be and it's not necessarily to say that there's going to be just money falling out of the sky, although that would be very nice. It's more so signifying that I'm getting like things are coming in at a steady pace. You know, I feel like it's coming in faster than you might have even expected. And I feel like with the 2 of Cups being here, this is either some of you, this abundance is coming in because you have taken the time to focus on some kind of, focus on yourself. With the Two of Cups, this card is about love, but I feel like more so love for yourself, because once that love happens, then, I feel like the universe starts, opening those avenues for, extending that love to a partner, maybe to an animal, whatever that emotional abundance looks like to you. It all starts with this lotus, and that's you. And then that water just kind of spills over. So this could be too with this Two of Cups. This is like, now that, for those of you who have been, kind of focusing on that, because I definitely think I pounded up, and that's not to say that's going to stop, but self-care is like one of the top things that I'll harp on throughout this whole channel. So, throughout this whole venture on this channel. And you know what, I will. I'm just going to start posting self-care all over my page. But back on point, Cancer. This is, I feel like, for those of you, I feel like abundance is coming in. For those of you who haven't, been focused on that self-love, I think this could also signify, if you take that time to, get realigned with yourself, figure out, what makes you happy? What do you love? What is something that you want to pour your energy to? You want to pour this Eight of Wands energy to? Because I do, believe me, once you focus on you and really start pouring that love and that nurturing into yourself, the universe, it permeates throughout your environment, and it really, things start changing in ways that you didn't even expect. And I feel like this Two of Cups is the key for the nature of your problem this week. For those of you who haven't been focusing on that, and for those of you who have, sentences are hard this morning. For those of you who have, now don't forget that Two of Cups. Keep this Eight of Wands momentum. But don't forget that. I feel like this is a really nice kind of combination of energies here. This is like going at a pace that is, I feel like, at a steady pace. But that way, but so that you're enjoying your gains along the way. I hope that makes sense for some of you, but I do, I won't beat that to death. I do feel like this is, I do feel like good things are coming in for you, Cancer. So let's go ahead and move on to some future outcomes here. You know what? Let's start with I'm gonna start with the one on the right, just because if some of you who haven't been focusing on that self-care. On this right-hand side here, I pulled the Three of Swords, the Five of Discs, and the Three of Cups. So with this Three of Swords, and both of these, I feel like this Three of Swords, for some of you who haven't been maybe focusing on, that kind of self-love, it might be because there's something that's weighing down on your mind this week. Maybe there's, the Three of Cups is about sorrow, but something is, kind of a melancholy type of energy that comes in with the Three of Cups. So something, some of you might be really deep in the feels this week. And, and for Cancers, and really for water signs, but I feel like for Cancers in particular, sometimes it can be, not to say that our emotions aren't our own, but it's like while we're dealing with, maybe your own personal Three of Swords energy, you can't, there's a tendency to take on other emotions as well while you're dealing with this thing. So I think that this Three of Swords is kind of being, at least for you, Cancer, this is kind of what I'm feeling is maybe there is time to kind of, again, kind of take that time to be with yourself for a second, maybe separate some kind of negative outside influences, and I don't know what this Three of Swords moment is for you, but if there hasn't been, because words are powerful, and if it affects your intellect, and if you're around that kind of, if you're it's one thing if you're already sad, but then you throw people who are maybe feel pity for you, who want to be sorry for you, maybe they'll that aren't helping you try to lift out of this situation. I'd be be kind of mindful of the company you kind of keep while you're dealing with this kind of this time of of kind of deep feels, but know that balance, or that imbalance doesn't last forever. I do feel like, and this isn't this Five of Discs isn't proving my point, but I promise the last card will get me there. so with some of you too, with this five of disc, this is a card about worries, anxiety. More specifically, it could be some of you might be worried about this nine of disc. Maybe you're in kind of a monetary jam. Maybe resource, you need resources to come in a lot faster. You might be got the deal. Credit cards, bills, car, house. These are everything that's just like asking of you. That's what five of disc is about. That's really kind of, I feel like, depleting your resources, but you're not getting that back. That could possibly be the source of your of this three of swords. When I was talking about it before, it's just three of swords in general, but in combination with these cards, some of you might be feeling sad and worried about money, because when there's not that security, that stability is gone. That does, you can try to be the happiest person all day, but that does weigh down on your mind when you don't quite have a clear idea of where your life's going from day to day. And this might, and it's hard. This is a tall ass Cancer, but it might be, I feel like with these energies here, it might be a time to say, maybe it's, instead of worrying about in the future about things that you can't control yet or that haven't happened yet, cross that bridge when you get there. Focus on what you need to right now. What is immediate, what is something that you can help in this present moment to kind of alleviate these feelings? Because I feel like once you start doing that, again, get into that good mindset, abundance starts coming in. There's that Mercury energy again, Mercury in Cancer. This is one of your cards, and the Two of Cups is one of your cards too, Cancer. And so I feel like since the more positive of your cards are here, because there's one other one. We're not going to talk about that one because we're trying to get out of a negative headspace, Cancer. We're trying to stay in this Three of Cups energy. I feel like once you deal with this, process what you can in the moment, with this Three of Swords, Five of Discs, so that you can get to this, so that your abundance can come in, so that this Three of Cups, I should say too, with the cups are about emotional matters. So in the swords being about intellectual matters, money's on the dome and it's affecting our feelings. But once we get our feelings in check, really kind of get that, and not necessarily, and I'm not saying getting in check like you need to toughen up and deal with it. No, I mean just giving it the space, allowing it to, and processing that. And then once you do, you'll notice, this is all just, these worries of the future will be all in the past, because we're just focused on the present right now. We're trying to channel abundance. If you spend time, whether it's in, because it's one thing with the thoughts, but then once you take that thought and then you link to it, it's a slippery slope. So I feel like this, for some of you, the challenge this week is definitely that mindset shift. Excuse me. It's, and it'll do you so much. It'll do you so well. Take that time. What do you want for yourself? And then let that be your mantra every day. I'm looking to, this is just a quick example. Like I would like to, what would I want for you, Cancer? I want you to feel whole again. I want you to feel balanced. So maybe start every morning. I'm going to do, what steps am I going to take to get towards that balance, get towards that abundance. So I won't, we'll move on from that. So yeah, I think you get the gist on that. Now on this right hand side here, for some others, I pulled the Ten of Wands, the Ace of Disc, and the Prince of Wands. So with this Ace of, I want to talk about the Ace so bad, because again, we don't want to talk about negative things. But, and I shouldn't even call these cards negatives. These are cards that are calling mindfulness to areas that we may not want to give. It's easy to want to revel in all the fun stuff, but when things go bad, we tend to want to push them aside, not want to deal with them. And believe it or not, those that undealt with stuff, it becomes this, it festers. And I feel like that's what I'm kind of getting with this energy here. I feel like some of you your energy has been feeling repressed. You've wanted to move fast, move towards something, but you haven't figured out where to channel that energy yet. And that's what that means with this. This card, the Ten of Wands, is a card of, suppressed, or repressed, or oppressed, all those, just a lot of pressure going on with this Ten of Wands. And, it can be very destructive at times, and not to say, I'm going to tie in these futures here because, the beautiful thing about your futures, Cancer, you can shape it however you want. These are just, this is kind of nice to kind of, what am I trying to say, Cancer? You are the alchemist in this situation, and you can mold, shape these, make these futures work for you. Pick things. Maybe I feel like with this Ten of Swords, or excuse me, Ten of Wands, you're still Ten of Wands. What could be causing that repression could be these two energies here. That's what's keeping that energy locked. Because what wants to happen, once we've dealt with that, we're moving on past. I don't want to hover on this too long. We're dealing with those. We're reevaluating and figuring out where we want to spend that energy. And I think that's where this Ace of Discs comes in. Oh, let me flip that right side up. Not that it matters. It's like the same both sides. I'm having a morning, Cancer. It's so with this Eight of Discs, I feel like this is a good time to, if you haven't, maybe channel that energy into a project. It doesn't have to be anything super big, but just something that's going to bring you joy. And if you want to be really want to be use that Ace of Disc energy to its fullest, maybe find a way to take something you love that is going to alleviate this five of disc energy. Find something where it'll give you that financial stability again, if that's something that you're struggling with. The aces they are the root of each energy. So I like to think of them as the seed that you're planting, so that something, once it comes to bloom, man, it's incredible. So I feel like this is, getting out of this oppressed, and why is everything upside down? Get out of this repressed energy, flip it on its head, shake it a little bit so that we can start planning, so that we can start getting into this Ace of Disc here. And then with the Prince of Wands here, I feel like this is really, when you got cards in groups and they're of the same suit, I feel like they like to enhance each other. Ooh, a little wet there. And with the Prince of Wands being here, the princes can represent people, but and I feel like that could be you, Cancer, but there could be maybe someone who might be oppressing your energy, or maybe someone who might be, you're trying to help someone else, could be a partner, could be a friend, try to deal with their Ten of Wands. But I'm feeling this is more have to deal with you. And I think that once you get out of this Ten of Wands energy, you'll be able to get back into where you have that confidence again. The Prince of Wands, normally he can be he can represent like a kind of a reckless force, but here I'm getting more of a proud force here. This is you coming, you've been kind of down in the dumps for a while, and now you've like shaken it off. You've been taking that self-care. We got our hair cut, we're been working out, getting good sleep, and now you're ready to go out into the world and, show people, go with that Ace of Wands energy, and you're ready to go and get that abundance. This is the Prince of Disc is he's ambitious, he's a go-getter, he's got a great sense of humor. Well, I mean, he hasn't told me any jokes, but I'm assuming he has a great sense of humor. You have a great sense of humor, Cancer. I'm talking about you. It ain't always about you, Prince of Wands. But once you get out of that repressed Ten of Wands energy, I feel like really, really kind of go out with your head up high, because that is an accomplishment. Getting out of that negative headspace, knowing your worth and knowing that you are the shit, Cancer. Hold your head up high. Let this guy, look how proud he is. He brought the lions out. He's got his best card. He even got a new wand. Oh, let's see. He even got a new wand for the situation. Look at him. He is very proud, but not in a not in like a braggadocious kind of way, but just in like a, check out what self-care has done for me. I can't even imagine what it'll do for you, Cancer. So, I feel like this is, let's get these a little neat again. So yeah, once you've dealt with this, again, for both futures, I feel like once we've dealt with, and really these I don't want to call the Three of Swords and Five of Wands. I don't want to necessarily label them as general kind of problems, but I feel like they are pretty common problems. And this might be something as simple. Maybe talk it out with someone. This could represent, someone who you might want to, who you might think is like, man, they're so confident. How are they this? How are they that? Maybe talk to this person. Maybe get an idea, because sometimes you might be surprised. Everyone has been there at some point in time. We all the beautiful thing about life is we all have our highs and our lows. It's about how we channel that, or how we swim through that, really navigate through that perpetual, those perpetual changes. So, yeah, Cancer, I feel like, yeah, this is good, Cancer, but either way, take this. I feel honestly, you can really take this future and just kind of make it your own. For even both, your goal is Ace of Disc, Prince of Wands energy. Oh, and let's not forget this Three of Cups here. I like Three of Cups too. Who doesn't love abundance? All right, Cancer. Let's move from the future. Let's talk about where your head's at, and let's see if I can get my head on straight. So, with the mental basis or some perspectives to consider, I pulled the Death card, the Four of Disc, and the Ace of Cups. Another ace there, Cancer. So, with the Death card, this is about transformation. This for some, I feel like this is asking you to change that mindset, Cancer. This is getting, but for the best. The Death card, death. When you just hear that word, it's just like, oh no, this isn't good. No, the Death card is awesome. It is. I feel like honestly, it's one of my favorite. I think of the major cards, just because it's it's one thing. I'm trying to think what's a good card example. There's one like the Two of Disc represent change. A lot of the cards represent change, but this is like Scorpio level change. This is Scorpio's card, obviously, but I feel like some of you are undergoing a transformation. This is we've been doing that Two of Cups, and really kind of channeling that in. And now you're going through this change to get to this Four of Disc here. And the Four of Disc is about power, law and order, gain. This is about getting that stability again, establishing that foundation. This is I like the Four of Disc. This is about really kind of you getting that kind of balance again. This is now we've gone from worrying about where's the ground at. We built our own. Sometimes it's we got to go out and just like build our own things. And I feel like this is you gaining your power back, getting your control back. You're not a slave to the what ifs anymore. You're like, what, these things, this is an issue, but that is for next week's me. Today's me's got to clean up the house and maybe go for a walk. That's focus on those things, and I tell you, the future will accommodate for sure. Because look where we're at. Ace of Cups. You got another ace here. And this one too. And that's nice. I like that you got the Ace of Disc and the Ace of Cups. Because the Ace of Cups, where the disc is about monetary stuff, again, the cups are about emotional things. So I really think this is really saying plant that seed, Cancer. Plant that seed of emotional stability, that love, and that's what Cancers are all about. We're the energy, we're bringing that nurturing, where Cancer is the mother sign of the zodiac. So this is who better than the Ace of Cups and the Cancer. So, with where your head's at, I feel like this really transformation, and this is an awesome, this is where we want our headspace to be, and I feel like that's gonna come. It's coming, Cancer. It's like it's right there. So take that time, nurture yourself. Because it's give to yourself how you would give to others. Because Cancers, I feel like we love to, even if we are dealing with our own shit, we'll definitely, if someone else is going through with something, we'll take that on too. And then if someone else, you'll take that on, and then you take that on, and then it all piles up, and then where your issues and everyone issues, that line becomes blurred, because think of think of your emotions as like the ocean. The crab takes on all this stuff, and it's sometimes we got to take a step, focus on us first, so that when someone comes to us with things, then we can give, we can give from somewhere. You're not just pulling dry, because it's hard pulling any kind of energy when you're stuck in this mentalities here. It's really, these are great. These are moments of mindfulness right here, baby. That's what I'm all about. Negative cards don't have to, and they don't rule your life. And again, I shouldn't call them negative cards. I'm gonna start calling you nicer things, because then you come at it with a little playfulness. Because see, even just saying it like that, it made me a little more excited to look at them. And you know what? We're gonna move to this, what your higher self is, because we have another mindfulness card here. I'm still gonna work on that, Cancer. That's not set in stone. So for some messages that your higher self wants you to know, you have the 8 of Swords, the 8 of Disc, and the Lust card. So another negative card. I can't quote with the other hand, but know that there were quotes here. Another moment for mindfulness. You know what? Get on point. The 8 of Swords is about interference. This is about, and I think interference in an intellectual sense. You're in your head. Some kind of mentality is getting in the way of you making a clear decision. The 8 of Swords. The 8 of Swords, to me, at least for you in this situation, and we're just going to keep going back to those stuff, is for you, Cancer, this is a very mindful week for you. That's the overall message I'm getting for here. But this is really what is getting in the way of you achieving that abundance and that happiness. The 8 of Swords is just like there's a mental block, and you're trying to break that. And so your higher self, I feel like that's the message from your higher self. This is a card of get out of your own way, because sometimes, majority of the time, it's us, and I say us as a whole, as humanity. Sometimes we tend to get in our way more than other people get in our way. So I feel like this is the universe saying, kind of, just get out of your own way, get out of your headspace and allow yourself that abundance to come in, because when you got 8 of Disc here, and I like that. With the 8 of Disc being here, I feel like this is saying, learn from your lesson. This is a card of wisdom, of prudence. I get a very responsible nature from this card. I feel like this is kind of like, hey, you've been happy before. Let's say if, this is you trying to get back to that happy state, you've been happy before, or hey, you've been in a situation where things have been kind of tight, if we're talking about money, and you gotten through just fine. You were able to plant that Ace of Disc, and still, it may not have looked exactly like this, but it was beautiful all the same. And so I feel like this is saying, once you get out of your way, and just remember what take that wisdom from your past. Because Cancers too, we tend to, our past really kind of can shape some of our future, and not in a bad way per se, but I feel like if we're not using that strength to our advantage, then it can shape it in a bad way. So I feel like this with this 8 of Disc is just saying, you go ahead and just remember when things how to feel happy, how to get back on track. Trust that. Trust in your strength. That's the Lust card is it's about strength, it's about courage, it's about life force. So I feel like this is your higher self is definitely saying you are stronger than you know how strong you are, Cancer, and it's just reminding you that, not even stronger than you know how strong you are, and keep telling yourself that, Cancer, you are a strong motherfucker, and you are going to get out and do what you need to get done. And I feel like this is, I'm getting riled up, Cancer. See that? See the kind of power you have, Cancer? You get me riled up. So go ahead and channel that for yourself. You know, get that feeling for yourself. Get excited about yourself. Remember how awesome you are. Remember the greatness that you can give to yourself and to others. You know, look at what she's doing. She's riding this 7-headed lion, proud as proud can be. And she's spreading that joy and all of that throughout the universe. You know, this is her creating these orbs down here. I don't know if you can see those, but there are these little orbs scattered around here, and those are supposed to represent the orbs of the tree of life. And this is her coming in and shaping this new universe. You know, this is like the entering of a new eon. And I think that's what's happening for you, Cancer. You know, you're getting out of this mental mind, you know, these negative mindsets, and you're getting into where you're channeling that energy and that power and just spreading that out. So I feel like that's really nice. I think Cancer, that your higher self has always got your back. You know, let's go ahead and switch back here. Oh, that was not as smooth, but you know, things in life aren't always as smooth, but it doesn't take away from the fact that I'm still here, you know, and celebrating those victories, you know, because it's so simple to get lost in these negative thoughts, but you'd be surprised how easy it is. You know, it requires some work, but once you get that practice and really start flexing that muscle, you can stay in that 3 of Cups mindset, 2 of Cups mindset, and everything's all Gucci. Everything's all happy, you know, and then we can start planting abundance, all these seeds of abundance, you know. And I really, emotional, monetary, and emotional, we're getting there. But that's what I have for you, Cancer. This is a very nice reading. So I hope that resonated with you all. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good YouTube things. And you know, for a clear picture of you, you know, check your moon, check your rising. And I feel like with where your headspace is at, you know, maybe let's check our Venus this week. I think that's going to be the challenge, you know, just to see with how you deal with love, and maybe what that looks like to you, maybe how you apply that to find a way to maybe apply that to this new mindset that you're shifting in, you know. And I'm excited to see where you come at with that, Cancer. I do feel like there is greatness on the horizon. Now, for my personal favorite I love talking about your outcome too, Cancer. So, you know, for my second favorite time of this video is Celestial News Weekly. It's a pretty light week this week. So I've decided that I'm going to start getting more into aspects of things, and that's kind of how the planets relate to one another, depending on their position and what that influence means on you. Because last week I beat retrogrades to the ground, and I was like, do you really want to hear about retrogrades again this week? And so I'll just talk about those as they come up. But there's still 4 planets in retrogrades, if you're curious. So for news, on the 17th, that's tomorrow, it's it's the last quarter moon. And you know, with the moon being your ruler, I really would, to Cancers, and I'm really starting to get on this too, you know, pay attention to the phases of the moon, because, you know, you're just like our ruler, you know, our feelings are constantly changing, you know. So this is a good time to, you know, how perfect with the last quarter moon. Let me go ahead and talk about it. This is a time of transition, of transformation too, of letting go. And this is kind of like taking responsibility for like your mistakes and your accomplishments. You know, this is you. We're entering that last phase before we start into the new moon to get ready to aim for like your next objective, you know, in the next cycle. So I feel like as we're coming at the tail end of this lunar cycle, you know, this is, you know, we're in this last quarter, you know, let's let some things go that haven't been serving you a purpose, you know, that have been bringing you down. Let's let some of that stuff go, and let's start bringing things in that are going to bring you up, which is perfect because it'll transition me nicely into our next bit of news. Chiron is in retrograde right now. It went in retrograde, I want to say back in July, but it ends on the 23rd. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Chiron, because it's just got on my orbit here in the past year, Chiron is it was originally listed as an asteroid, but it was later reclassified as a minor planet, and it orbits between. It was discovered in 1977 for those of you who are history buffs, and it orbits between Uranus and Saturn, and it is known as the wound healer. It's named after the centaur from Greek mythology. I want to say that he trained Hercules, Achilles, just to name two. I've never heard of them. Kidding. But yeah, this is, with Chiron being, Chiron is about dealing with like trauma, and like really deep wounds and that type of things that we might not want to, you think of like trauma, so it's like, ugh, but it's not in like a real aggressive way. These are just like, as you're ready to deal with them, this is really a good time. It's and especially with it being in retrograde, this is a really good time for just internal healing. It's a time of catharsis. Really, again, getting back to that nurturing. Really I hate the. No, we're fine. Everything you have, everything you need right here, Cancer. I really feel like this is that taking that time, really emphasizing that with Chiron being in retrograde. To focus on that self here, maybe heal some. You maybe don't want to deal with like, I don't know the depths of your trauma, but treat it like an onion. We got to deal with these things in layers, but the point is, starting to deal with them. Giving them, once you take that first step, it gets a little easier, and then your body knows how to deal with that in chunks. Your brain will unlock those things as you become more, as you become more aware of the strength that you have, and the healing that's going to come from that, I think, is going to be really beautiful. So, and just one more random fact, because I thought this was kind of interesting with Chiron. So when as far as it stays on average, except for 4 signs, it stays an average of 4 years in each sign, all except in the case of Aries and Pisces, it'll stay in their what am I trying to say? In their sign for about 7 to 8 years, whereas with Libra and Virgo. Oh, I'm lost. Virgo. We're saying Virgo. Yes. It'll only stay for like 1 or 2 years. So, yeah, I found that really fascinating. Two last things. Now we're getting into like the aspects. The sun is trine with Mars. Trine means Trine. Trine is the planets' relationships to each other within 120 degrees. It forms this alignment at the 120 degree mark. And with the sun being trine with Mars, that's just like you're feeling this sudden, this impetus for to push forward on some projects. This, like, you got that drive. This is in that drive. Got that drive. What perfect time with it being in being trine. I want to say it ends on the 26th, but this is a good time. Plant those. Go out, and if you got that energy, maybe plant some emotional stability, plant some financial stability, watch that abundance. Oh, Three of Cups is covered here. Watch that abundance pour in, baby. It's going to be great. And last but not least, Venus is square with Pluto, square being at 90 degrees, which makes that easy. But, it ends on the 25th of this month. And this is with that being squared with Venus being squared with Pluto. This is kind of like being aware of some discord. There's, it's kind of like it's going to bring up some, not so savory things in relationships, let's say, maybe like, not necessarily like, extremes, but, maybe just like minor annoyances, just things that might need to be aired out and addressed, so I feel like this is, so just kind of be aware of that. If you feel that there's this weird dissonance in your relationships during this time, that could be why, and to give you kind of take a moment to like, okay, wait a minute, this is like, where are my emotions at? Am I upset at this person, or is this coming from somewhere else? So that you can, so that we're not damaging relationships for no reason. All right, Cancer. I feel like that is good. That is the end of the news. So for sticking around with me, we'll pull one surprise card at the bottom here. Let's see what we got. Princess of Cups. I love it. Princess of Cups is she's a very generous figure. And that's what I feel like, with her being here, I feel like normally she's about, she's being generous with others. She's very giving with her energy. She's the earthy part. The princesses represent earth. She's the earthy part of water. And when I picture that, I picture someone who's really, I get like a forest, I picture someone, or like a gardener, someone very, very generous with their energy, that nurturing kind of figure. So I really feel like with this Princess of Cups coming here, I feel like she's saying be generous with yourself, Cancer. How great that I have both the earthy and the watery part here. I feel like this is saying be generous with yourself, Cancer. Give yourself the emotional love and all of that you need. Plant those seeds this week, and great things are going to come for you, Cancer. So I'll go ahead and leave that there. Thanks again for being here. Until next time, let's keep raising the vibration and have a great rest of your week. Later.